Right then, Joey, the Premier League season is culminating, but I want you to let me and everyone know who would be in your starting 11 for the most surprising in a good way and a bad way for the Premier League this season.
So in goal, I'd go Hugo Lloris, someone I've always held in quite high regard. I think he's been rubbish. I know a goalkeeper is sort of heavily reliant upon a solid defence in front of them, and sometimes actually you see like relegated teams, their goalkeepers come under a lot of praise. You know, Nick Pope, Aaron Ramsdale, products of relegated teams in the past, and because they concede a lot of shots, it gives the goalkeeper a platform to showcase their talent. But yeah, Hugo Lloris is one for me. Honourable mention also, Mendy. Mendy was class the season before, and then it was around the Leeds game where we got tanked 3-0 at Ellen Road. I remember thinking, I have got no confidence in that ball going back to you, and yeah, it says something when you're thinking, God, Kepa's head and shoulders above this fella.
Who's in your back line, Joey?
So I'm going Trent right back. Listen, I don't think it was a secret before this season that his strong point wasn't defending, almost, but he made up for it in attack. He weren't bad at defending this season. He's been exposed, and also not just his defensive ability, his concentration, natural willingness to defend has been exposed a little bit. Trent's let his team down quite a lot of times.
If you were Klopp, would you put him in the midfield, or would you just keep him at right back?
He's saying it needs to be experimented with, and when you look at the fact that their midfield's very weak at the minute, it's an option. But I do think he's a passenger, and I feel like at the top of the pitch, maybe you can have a passenger. Not Trent Alexander-Arnold in defence, you can't have a passenger, and I feel like he is that. So is the problem going to be resolved by putting him in midfield? I mean, Gareth tried it for England and it didn't work all that well, so I don't know. I don't know with Trent. I really don't know.
Who are your centre-backs in this team?
So I'm going Martinez. Martinez is a player that I knew a little bit of from his days at Ajax, but I didn't know he would have the class to translate that into the Premier League. And let's be honest, on the first couple of performances, it was like, oh God, what have they done? This is going to be a stinker. Martinez has been solid. A lot of people would go with Sven Botman, but I think the man alongside him has surprised me more. Sven Botman was often linked with top clubs. The man alongside him, Fabian Schär, is someone that we have seen play in the Premier League for a while now. Never a player that we thought, oh my God, this Schär, he's brilliant and whatever. And this season, he has been 50% almost in the responsibility for having the most watertight backline in the Premier League. You know, yes, he's got a good partner, but I think if we go in surprise team of the season, the performances of Schär have surprised me more than performances of Botman. Left back, Cucurella. He hasn't surprised me that much. I didn't think he was going to be a well beater. I thought the price was too high. Yeah. But fuck me, is he bad. He is a danger to himself on that football pitch. He needs to take up ice skating or something, because the fella is not a footballer. Get rid of him at all costs. My midfield three, I'm going Grealish is the first one. Yeah. Grealish, no doubt, is an unbelievable player.
Great.
But let's be honest, the Pep system did not suit him in that first season, and he did not look that great. We you know, he had lost the old character and the flair of the player that we had seen before. And I believe that it was a system thing and it wasn't going to work for Grealish, and we'd maybe see his best of him at another team. This season he's been on fire. And now, if you said to me, is he worth 100 million? I'd still say no. But I tell you what, I'd probably say, yeah, he's pretty worth in today's market 70, 80 million. Yeah. Whereas last season, I'm like, I don't know, 30 million. So he's more than doubled in his performance. In the middle, I'll go Granit Xhaka.
Yeah,
Granit Xhaka is a player that I just did not think would be able to hit the heights he's hit this season. I think playing alongside Partey and having Partey fit in that holding role has freed up Xhaka to play more of the role that he plays for Switzerland, almost a little bit more attacking. He's chipping in with goal involvements now. Scores a good long-range screamer. And he's a player that's really impressed me, and I think a lot of Arsenal fans would agree with that. You know, I spoke to an Arsenal fan recently that said, yeah, he was booing him off the pitch when he came off that time, threw the armband down. I don't think no Arsenal fans will be booing Xhaka anytime soon. And then my third in the midfield, I've gone Felipe Coutinho, because obviously he came in and he made a real half a season impact at Villa, and he was a really, really important player for them. They brought him in on a permanent signing, and let's be honest, he's a rotation player. As soon as Gerrard went through the door, you know, he became a rotation player. I mean, even under Gerrard, he wasn't performing, but he was at least getting starts. Now you don't even see him in the starting lineup, and you know, rightly so. He don't deserve a place over Jacob Ramsey or Wendia, John McGuinn, other players they've got in there. So yeah, Coutinho surprised me that he didn't do a little bit better this season. Up top, on one side, I've got Marcus Rashford. Everyone knows the quality that Marcus Rashford holds, but then at the same time, I don't think anyone really thought that Rashford was going to have the season he's had. He's been unbelievable.
Yes.
I think that his charity work and his work off the pitch maybe hindered him a little bit. He's done great things for the British community and whatnot, but they hindered him a little bit, and now he's got back to focus on playing his football, and he's a well beater.
Yeah.
He's a well beater. I'm on about wingers, yeah. I don't put him with him, but I only put him slightly below on his day. The likes of Vinicius, the likes of Neymar, the likes of Mbappe, you know, Rashford, I ain't comparing him to them, but I'm saying he's not levels and levels below on his day. On his day in a one-off match, Rashford's scary. Ollie Watkins through the middle. We don't know the results that are coming today, but he's close to breaking the record, or at least leveling the record for consistent goals in away games. He's been unreal, and especially under Unai Emery, Ollie Watkins has really surprised me. I mean, we look a couple of years ago, yeah, and it was like the backups for Harry Kane in that England system were a fading Jamie Vardy, or the emergence of Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Ollie Watkins. Well, you know, Dominic Calvert-Lewin could make it into this 11, but actually last season he was a little bit underwhelming towards the end, and you look at Ollie Watkins, I sort of put him on that level with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's completely surpassed that level this season, and now he's right in there with an England call-up. My last player in this team is Elise at Crystal Palace. Last season he got 1,100 minutes, yeah? This season he's already played double that, and he's got a lot more goal involvements. He's been a real integral part of what Palace done. He gives a great interview, beaming personality. Nah, joking, no, Elise, I like him, I think he's a good player. So that's my 11. But I want to know from you guys in the comments, what would your surprise players of the season be?